Hey friends, I am here today to introduce you to a type of wig cap that I'm guessing many of you are not familiar with, and that is a full lace wig cap. We've talked about all different kinds of wigs on this channel, but a full lace wig is new to me, and I'm guessing it's new to you. There are some real pros and some real cons to a full lace wig, and you just never know when you might come across one out in the wild, and if you don't know what it is, you might buy it accidentally. So let's talk about the pros and cons. Let me show you this piece that's on my head and help you to understand why a full lace wig will work for some but won't work for everybody. If you want to know more, then stick around. I would like to thank Superhairpieces for partnering with me on this video. They very graciously sent me the wig on my head so that I could have an opportunity to try a full lace wig, test it out, and share it with all of you. Without the support of some of these companies, I couldn't make half the videos that I make. And I definitely think these topics are important. When you're out there shopping, if you're not familiar with a full lace wig, you might purchase one thinking it means a lace front or a lace top. That's not at all accurate when it comes to the wig on my head, and that's why I thought this video was going to be useful. This wig is called Hollywood. It is a Remy human hair wig that has a full lace cap. And Superhairpieces is a really wonderful retailer that has been around for a very long time. I think it's something like 25 years. They got their start actually with men's hair systems. Like the bonded, it's almost like a bonded topper or a bonded wig. That's what a hair system is. They started with that. They are one of the largest importers of human hair pieces in the country, and about, I don't know, 3 years ago or so, they introduced, maybe 4 years, they introduced women's wigs to their line of wigs. I have reviewed a piece in the past from Superhairpieces, and this is my second piece and second time working with them. I'm really excited to bring you guys new resources all the time, and Superhairpieces is a great resource. They actually have some physical locations across the world, and I'll put some more details in the description so you can go check them out. Now, I have included timestamps in the description below, so if you're only here to learn about a full lace wig, if you only want to know about the full lace portion of this wig, then you can skip ahead to that segment. But I want to talk a little bit about this piece and in general the pieces that Superhairpieces carries. You see, human hair wigs are very challenging. It's a real challenge to purchase human hair wigs, especially when you're not familiar with the retailer, because they can come to us in any number of conditions. Some retailers do a lot of customizing before they send out the wigs. They pluck the hairline so it has a natural light density on the hairline. They pluck the top of the wig. They debulk and thin it out some. They cut in layers and face framing layers because most people have some sort of layers in their hair. They do an awful lot to the piece prior to shipping it out, whereas other retailers do much less in the way of customizing the piece, allowing the consumer to really have it customized to their own preference. So I believe Superhairpieces falls into the latter category. Their prices are great for the quality of human hair wigs that they sell, which leaves you room to have it customized to your liking. See, the problem is when a company plucks a hairline or thins it out on the top, debulks the piece, puts in layers, is that those things weren't done for your specifications, to your preferences. So if you like a bit of a heavier hairline, you don't like it to be plucked too much, how do you know it's not going to be over plucked for your own personal preference if the company is doing it prior to sending it to you? Likewise, all wigs are cut on a mannequin head. Those mannequin heads don't match our head size, our head shape. So when they cut layers in or face framing, those layers are not necessarily going to work for you because they weren't cut on your head. So you're likely going to have to get that customized further anyway. So we all have preferences, and some of us don't want to have to do very, very little when we get the wig. So I just wanted to give you guys that context so that you know, from my experience so far with Superhairpieces, I believe these pieces are left more raw than some other retailers. You're not paying as much for them, so there is that trade-off. But I believe for those of us who are really specific, we're looking for really specific things on our wigs, specific density, specific, customization on the hairline. Superhairpieces will give you that opportunity to make sure it fits exactly those specifications for you, because they won't have done much of that to begin with. I hope that makes sense. I just think this is important education if you're going to be a consumer of human hair wigs. Unless you know that retailer and their style and their signature when it comes to wigs, you may not know if it's going to come to you in a condition that you prefer. It's much easier for us to customize these further to our liking versus getting one that's been overplucked for our preference. So know that about Superhairpieces. Know that if you like your wigs highly customized before you get them, I would reach out to them and talk with them about those options are before purchasing, just so you're not surprised. Now, this piece is in the color S5. I've got it written down here somewhere, and that is called Neutral Brown. I will get outside so that you can see this color outside, but this is a beautiful neutral light brown dark blonde to my eye. It has some beautiful dynamic color going on, a very slightly darker at the top. I honestly wouldn't really consider this rooted because it's not really very dark. It really looks like somebody who gets their hair highlighted, or it gets lightened by the sun where it's a little bit darker up here. That's what it reminds me of. But it is so natural. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. So if you're looking for a neutral, light brown, dark blonde, no red, not ashy, not really warm, this could be a great color. And I'm sure that you can further customize it to add a bit of a darker root, add some low lights. I would always ask the retailer before you purchase if a wig can be colored and or lightened. They will be able to tell you if either one of those things can be done to the piece, so that you know if it needs further customization, if you can do it. This is also 24 inches long, which is very long. This is pretty much mermaid hair. And so if you're not looking for something this long, just know that you can cut the wig. All wigs can be cut, all wigs can be customized. So you may need to take some length off if you don't like the length. And I do think some of these companies leave them a bit longer because it's easier to cut them shorter. You're really hard to add hair back into the wig to make it longer again. And before we get to the cap, let's talk about density. This is something that's also a real challenge when it comes to purchasing wigs. There is no standard for density. I have had wigs that are 130% density that were way less hair than this piece. And this one they claim is light to moderate density, 105% density. This has a ton of hair. I am so surprised by how much hair is on this piece. I would not consider this a light density. I've had 150 density that felt exactly the same as my 130. So unless you know the retailer and their standards for their density claims, I probably wouldn't pay too much credence on the density. I think it's really difficult to know what that means. And in this case, I'm shocked that they consider this light density. So I think if there's one thing that I think could be communicated a little bit better, it's that, especially if you have experience with other wigs. This one's very thick, very full in my opinion, and probably needs quite a bit of trimming, thinning, and customizing for, I'd say, the majority of wig wearers. So that's this piece. Let's talk about the cap. So the star of the show is a lace cap. Let me take it off so that you can see what I mean by a full lace wig. Now this is a French lace, full French lace. They also have full Swiss lace. I don't know the difference between the two. That's something I'll need to educate myself on. But as you can see, the entire cap is made with lace. No wefting, No other components, all lace. Tension on this piece. When I put it on, it is basically just perched on my head right now. So between the fact that lace has zero stretch, so it isn't going to stretch at all, and it has no tension, the only way that I can wear this piece comfortably is to take an adhesive and adhere it to my head. Before you click off because you're thinking, oh, I don't ever want to adhere a wig to my head, here is why I think a full lace wig is a huge benefit, even though it creates some additional work, a little bit of additional hassle, because you have to use an adhesive in order for it to stay on your head. Two things are possible with a wig like this. The first, you can adhere it if you use a strong adhesive like Ghost Bond or a tape, a super strong tape. This is a men's, or not men's, it's just a hair system tape. If you use a non-water soluble, strong adhesive, you can adhere your wig and wear it for many days. I have heard from so many women who have situations coming up where they're going to be with other people. Those people do not know that they wear a wig and they're terrified about what they're going to do. Going camping with family for 3 days, going out of town for a long weekend with people that you are, and you're going to have to share a room and nobody knows that you wear a wig. You can adhere your wig and leave it. You can wear it, you can shower, you can do all the things, and you can keep your wig on and nobody will be the wiser. And another benefit that I almost forgot to mention, styling. You guys, once this is adhered on your head, you can pretty much style it however you would have styled your bio hair. If you want to do a completely tight, there's no way I can demonstrate because this is so loose on my head, but just imagine a sleeked back, tight ponytail. Just imagine French braids throughout your hair, cornrow braids potentially. Because once this lace is adhered, it is as flat to your head as your skin is, essentially. I really do think that the styling you could do with this, unlimited options. So if that's important to you, that's another pro. If you're going to do this, you need to make sure you have a strong adhesive remover. This one I've seen recommended over and over again. In addition, and here's another con of a full lace wig. Lace is really delicate and can rip, it can fray, it can get stretched out. Even though this isn't stretchy, if you're not careful, you can stretch it and it won't spring back. So when you wear a full lace wig, you have to be ultra careful when you're removing the adhesive, because if it is not fully released and you pull on it at all, you could fray or tear that lace. I don't believe a lace top wig will last anywhere near as long as a regular cap wig, even ones with a lace front. I think you're going to get a much shorter life out of this piece because of the lace, depending on how you wear it, how often you're adhering it and removing it, and all of those things. I think their website says something like 6 to 8 months. I'm not sure if you're going to be adhering it and removing it and adhering it and removing it constantly. I don't know if you'll even get 6 months out of the lace on here. I believe the hair is gonna way outlast the cap on this piece. Now you can always get lace replaced, but that could be a deal breaker for some who don't want to deal with that. But if you have been struggling with wigs because you don't want anybody to know, and you find yourself in situations where you can't take it off for many days or somebody's gonna know, or, and here's another story I hear all the time, you are dating and you don't want the person that you're dating to know that you wear wigs yet. This is something you're keeping close to the chest. You don't want someone to know. Or, and I hear this too, you're married and you never ever let your husband see you without hair on. And that's frustrating, going to bed at night, being intimate with your partner. And you don't want them to know. It's a constant reminder of something that bothers you a lot, which is your hair loss. A full lace wig, nobody can feel it. When I put my hand in here, when I rub in here with my fingertips, I can't feel this wig at all. It is absolutely seamless on my head. If somebody were working near your head, touching your head anywhere, they will not feel the wig cap on this one. That is another tremendous benefit of a full lace wig, is that nobody has to know that you have a wig on your head because they can't feel it. So let me kind of summarize. I sort of mixed up the pros and cons of a full lace wig. So let me sort of summarize. A full lace wig allows you to put a wig on your head and wear it for days. I'm not sure how many days is realistic. I've heard people say that they've been able to adhere their wig for 10 days. I honestly don't know. I think there are so many variables. What type of adhesive are you using? How oily is your skin? What are you doing during those days when you're wearing your wig? All of those things can impact it. But I believe that if you adhere it well, I think you can get 3 to 4 days out of it easily. So a long weekend easily, and nobody will have to know that you have a wig on your head. In addition, it's so flat to the head with no seams or wefts or anything inside. Even a fully hand-tied cap that's not full lace, you can feel the seams where sort of the cap meets the wefts or meets the other parts of it, meets the edges. You don't feel anything with this one. So once it's on, nobody's gonna know. It's completely seamless. So those are great benefits, but the cons are that you can't wear this without adhering, at least the front. You have to adhere some of it in order for it to stay. One of the reasons I have this big wig cap on is because if you have some bio hair and you want to adhere the piece, it's really important to get your bio hair tucked out of the way so that you get a clean adhesion to your skin. You can wear this with hair or without hair, but if you have bio hair, you definitely want to use a wig cap and get it all tucked away. So you have to adhere it. That can be a con for some. Another con, the lace isn't going to last as long as another type of wig cap. So you're getting some benefits and you're making some trade-offs. But goodness, you guys, doesn't every single decision we make in our lives have some sort of trade-off? It's whether or not the trade-off is worth it to you or not. That's the decision. All right, I'm not going to demonstrate how to adhere this piece because I'm still practicing and learning. I honestly think that adhering a full lace wig is going to take time and practice and skill, and that's something that's really hard for me. The practice part is hard. So I will continue to practice with it and I will bring you guys an update. But there are tons of videos on YouTube showing how to adhere a wig. I will find a few good ones and I will link them in the description. I don't want to leave you hanging if you've never done anything like this before. I just am not in the position to teach you how to do that. The purpose of this video was to introduce you to a cap type that I'm guessing many of you have never heard of. I hadn't heard of a full lace wig until about 6 months ago. So in case you ever find yourself in a situation where you need something like this, you know what your options are. Quite honestly, if you can afford to purchase a full lace wig and have it only be one that you wear every now and then under certain circumstances, I think it would be worth it, because not only then will the wig last a whole lot longer because you're not going to be constantly putting pressure on the lace, but you have an option that is available to you if you suddenly get invited to go on a long weekend and nobody knows you wear wigs. Or let's just say I can think of a possibility. Let's just say your husband knows you wear wigs and he's fine with it. My husband is so fine with me wearing wigs, but there are times when we are doing husband and wife things that I just wish my head felt normal. That, if I had a wig on, that he wouldn't. It seems to me that sometimes when I'm wearing a wig, he's hesitant to really touch my head. And I don't really know what that is, but if I had a full lace wig on, there'd be no reminder to either of us that I was wearing a wig. I can think of that as being a really fun option on occasion. So Superhairpieces, wonderful company. They have lots and lots of options. I do believe that their wigs will need more work on your end to customize it for you based on the pictures that I see. I've only tried one other piece. They're wonderful to send this wig to me so that I can share it with all of you and introduce an option. So I love them for that. A full lace wig is not going to be for everybody. So just think about it, tuck it away in the back of your head, and, you know, look at your life and the situations that you find yourself in. Is there ever a time that you would want to adhere a wig and not have to take it off for a while, or to go someplace and have people touching your head and have no idea that they're touching a wig? Then it could be something for you. Look below for more details. Let me know if you have questions. Was this helpful? I really hope either it helped you because someday you might want a wig like this, or it helped you because the next time you're looking at a wig listing and you see full lace, you know what it means. I think we can be confused when we don't know what it means, and you might be thinking it just means the whole top as opposed to the entire wig. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you in my next video.
Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. Here are a few videos I think you might enjoy. Go ahead and click on one and watch.